Hi students, in today's session we will see 11th Commerce chapter 1. Okay, so first we have barter system. So what is barter system? In ancient days when the money was not invented, the people were following barter system. So what it is? Basically when the goods are exchanged for goods, money will not be involved, goods will be exchanged for another goods. Okay, that we call it as barter system. Okay, so when such conditions will happen, each party to barter must have surplus stocks. Okay, so only when an individual is having surplus means what? Excess. So for example, if he needs a rice quantity of we can say 10 kg per month, but however he is having some 30 to 40, only then he will be interested to exchange his excess goods. Correct? So that we call it as surplus. And similar way, the other person who is willing to exchange his product should also have surplus stock. Only then barter system will work out. First point, correct? So each party must have excess of goods for the trade to take place. First one. Second thing we have, both the buyers and sellers should require the goods desperately. So what do you mean by that? Both should have the requirement. Both the buyer and the seller should have the requirement of the product. He should have a need for that product. Correct. So only then he will have an intention to buy it. Yes. And third one we have, buyer and seller should meet personally. So in those days we cannot send the goods to through transport and all. So they have to meet in person to exchange the goods. Both should come to a common place and exchange the goods. So this was barter system. So was it very easy to follow? Is it easy to follow nowadays? Very difficult. We are sitting in this corona situation at home and we want to buy everything and we want everything to come to our doorstep. So think of those days. So we have to find a person who has that excess stock and they both have to meet in person to get that stock, and also he should have a requirement of that stock. So that was very difficult, correct? So now we will see the constraints of barter system. So first one we have lack of double coincidence of wants. So what it is? See, it is not required that when you have a need for that product, the other person also should have a need for your product. He might be wanting some other product. So both your wants will not coincide. Correct. Both your wants will not meet. So this was a major problem in barter system. Correct. Next, non-existence of common measure of value. So what it is? So for example, if you are going to sell a 20 kg of rice, see how much value it is of 20 kg of rice. But however, in turn you are going to get only 5 kg of mango. The value is differing. Correct? The measures are different. You are selling 20 kg, but in turn you will get only 5 kgs. So is this valid? Is this, will it work? No, right? But in barter system, it was in that way. Next, we have lack of direct contact between the producer and the consumers. It was very difficult to meet both the customers and the producers. Okay, so it was very difficult to find out the person who was selling that product, and also it was very difficult to find a consumer for your product. And finally we have lack of surplus stock. So what is surplus? I said it is excess. Correct. So in those days they had limited stocks. Only for their personal use they can use it. They didn't have a excess stock to sell to other persons. Only when you have an excess stock or surplus stock, you will be in an intention to sell to the other person. Correct? So even that was a major problem in barter system. Okay. So I have given detailed explanation for the constraints in barter system. You can make a note of it. Next we will see some of the short notes. Okay. Technique, I mean terms used in those days of trade. Okay. First one we have Nalangadi. So what it is? In Pandya's period, where the goods were sold was called Angadi. Angadi. Okay. So where the goods were sold and purchased, we call it as Angadi. Okay. When the market is working out in the daytime, day market, they call it as Nalangadi. Okay. And similarly, night market we call it as Alangadi. They had two types of market. One is day market and the other one is night market in Pandya's period. Both were in Pandya's period. Okay. So day market they called as Nalangadi and night market as Alangadi. Okay. Commonly when where the goods were sold, they call it as Angadi. Clear? Next we have Vanigam. The word Vaniyam or Vanipam would have had a Dravidian origin. So it has a origin of Dravidian. The early Tamils produced their products and goods in their lands and bartered their surplus, and that is how trade came into existence. So what happened is, early people, okay, they produced the goods and products in their own land. They cultivated the products in their own land, and when they had an excess of stock, they brought it into trade. So trade is nothing but buying and selling of goods. Okay. So the word Vanigam has been widely used in Sangam literature. So the word Vanigam was used in which literature? Sangam literature like Puranuru and Tirukkural. Okay. So in Sangam literature like Purananuru and Tirukkural, they use the word Vanigam. Okay. Next, some of the ports developed by Pandya kingdom. They had many ports during the Sangam period. Okay. So for they used these places for trading the goods. So trading is nothing but what did I say? It is buying and selling of goods. When you have an excess goods, you will commonly assemble in this place. Both the buyers and sellers will come, and they will purchase the required goods, and the person who has excess goods will be selling. Okay, so we have so many ports here. For example, similarly Pandyas developed Korkai, Saliyur, Kayal, Marungaur, Pattinam and Kumari for the foreign trade. So for foreign trades, they use the places Korkai, Saliyur, Kayal, Marungaur, Pattinam and Kumari. So foreign trade is nothing but when the goods are sold to the other countries, we call it as foreign trade. Okay. Trade in copper, cloth, salt, flour, sandalwood, fish, paddy, cereals, pearls, etc. flourished during their period. So in those days, like Pandya, when they had Pandya's kingdom, what are all products were very familiar? Copper, cloth, salt, flour, sandalwood, fish, paddy, cereals, pearls. Okay, so these were the very commonly and easily available products. Next we will see the definition of commerce. Accordingly, commerce may be defined as the organized system for the exchange of goods and service between members of industrial world. So it is nothing but exchange of goods and services, that is from the producer to the consumer. It comprises all forms of trade, wholesale, retail, import and assist the trading activities such as banking, transport, warehousing, insurance and advertising. So what does commerce comprise of? It comprises of all forms of trade, import trade, export trade, we can say. Import is nothing but when the goods are purchased from the foreign country and used in your own country. That type of goods we call it as trade, we call it as import trade. So what is export? When you manufacture some goods and that goods, when you are selling it to the foreign countries, we call it as export trade. Okay, what is wholesale? Wholesale are nothing but when the goods are directly purchased from the producers and sold it to the consumers. That is wholesale. Okay, retail will be a person in between the wholesale and the customer. There will be a middle person. Okay, so what are all activities it is supporting? Banking, transport, warehousing, insurance and advertising. Okay, so hope it is clear. If you have any clarification in this video, you can contact me. Thank you.